Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. We are doing these classes to teach you about tea and to make sure that you are enjoying the leaves from my selection to the fullest. This is a class based on the Dongding Oolong sampler, the seasons of Dongding. I have selected 4 different seasons: spring, summer, fall and winter, plus Dongding competition Oolong. And we have reviewed these teas first in very academic style with porcelain gaiwan, really to analyze each of these teas. And in the second step, I'm showing you my interpretation, how I would brew each of these depending on their character. Now, the tea I'm going to brew today is my summer Concubine Oolong from Dongding. It comes from a plantation in Yonglong and a plantation in Dongding. Both plantations belong to the same farmer, so he has the same management of these two plantations, and the trees grow in a very natural way, I would say. I've visited several times this plantation. There's some weed that grows a bit between the tea trees, so it does not use pesticide or weed killer to take care of this. And also in summer he's not using pesticides. We can see lots of insects because he wants these tea leaves to be bitten and get this honey aroma that is an occurrence that you have especially in the Oriental Beauty tea, but that people and farmers in Dongding have learned to adapt and also make it happen in their summer Dongding Oolongs. So before I start, you can see the weather is getting warmer and warmer as spring progresses. This weekend we had some showers today, but the weather has been nice until now. Lots of harvests are being done right now. I will go to see the farmers as soon as they have enough leaves for me and batches for me to select from. The advantage that I have is that I live really nearby in Taiwan, and I can go visit them at the best time when I have the most choice to choose from, and I can also then pick the best batches for me and for you and get it at a good wholesale price that makes it more affordable. And so the Qingxing Oolong are being made in Alishan. They have not started yet in Shanlinxi, and the Baozhong is also on Wednesday it was 20% was done, but now in these last days a lot is coming out. So I hope that in 1 week, maximum 2 weeks, I will have lots of new teas to present, and that will be a good timing because we will end our class next week with this fall version of the Dongding Oolong. But today, let's go to our summer version of a tea that is so particular that it has received its own name, Concubine. And the summer has a particular plant for symbol in Chinese culture. It is the bamboo. And bamboo, so that's why you see my cha bu is this dry bamboo. And bamboo, also this plant, bamboo is also reminiscent of the bamboo hut, the bamboo tea hut of the Ming Dynasty tea people. so in the Ming Dynasty, it's a very suitable theme for when you want to emphasize bamboo and maybe the summer, because one of the pinnacles of leisure for the Ming literati was to enjoy tea outdoors, but in a simple, humble bamboo hut, maybe surrounded by a bamboo forest, with a little river nearby where the tea person could gather some fresh and clean water, and where he would either drink tea alone or share a cup with friends. Now, I think it's too long. Let me check my notes. Yeah, Toulon said, when you are drinking tea alone, it's like a dialogue with the gods, and when you are sharing it with friends, then it's a convent of the heart. I think it's quite a nice quotation, and so that's why I chose this Ming Dynasty theme for my Chaxi, because this summer tea is really much more about the warmth of the summer. Today is also getting really warm. We are really in the mood for summer, and I'm using also this porcelain teapot from the Ming Dynasty. It's a little bit fragile, so I have to be very, very careful when I use it. It does not have a bar, how you say, a handle, so it's also very difficult to hold, but this makes it even that I have to focus even more. It's made of porcelain. Now, is it a problem with this tea? I don't think so, because this Dongding Oolong is the most oxidized of all the Dongding Oolongs. It's not too roasted. Also, it has been kept in this Ming Dynasty jar, which has rounded its edges. You can have a look at it here. It smells very fruity. Very nice sound, dry sound when it falls in the teapot. Okay. Now the Ming literati, they were under also an intense pressure working for the Ming emperor, who was actually emperor. The first emperor Hongwu was a former peasant, and he made really the switch away from the Song Dynasty style diancha, where the tea was made into powder and then whisked. The Yuan, the Mongols, had kept this tea ceremony, which they probably honored and they respected. So they did not discard it, but it's actually the Ming Dynasty who discarded it and continued the other way of brewing tea that the Yuan dynasty, the Mongols also started to adopt, was with loose leaf and using a teapot. So during the Mongol era, both methods were used, and the Emperor Hongwu, very early in his reign, the first emperor of the dynasty, he made an edict, imperial edict, that he would refuse the compressed tea, only wanted to receive tea tributes as loose leaves. And then, because of this edict, people switched from the whisked tea to the loose leaf preparation. For lots of literati, maybe it was also a way of making a statement. We go back to simplicity. To make powdered tea is more complex. There are more steps to prepare it. Making tea with simply loose leaves is a way that makes it more simple. And this reminds me of the quote by Chen Chunyan, who said to make the finest tea requires no complex utensils, only the purity of heart and the clarity of water are the two things that you need if you want to make tea with fine leaves. You need pure heart and clear water. From Qian Chunyan, Ming Dynasty literati. So, making tea in a humble hut, where a cup in that hut feels more precious than a jade vessel in the palace, was also a way for the Ming person to show that he liked a more recluse life, away from the politics. He does not want really to involve too much in the politics of its time. He wants to lead a humble, simple life based on the pleasures of that time, which were maybe music, qing, music, also calligraphy and painting. That's why I have both a calligraphy and a painting, and these paintings or calligraphies very often would be drawn, written during tea gathering by several tea friends, and after drinking some tea they felt in the mood for poetry or in an artistic mood and would draw. And that's the mood that we are trying to get when we are preparing tea in this manner, is to feel harmony with nature, like we are in a bamboo forest. This is our little hut, our bamboo hut made with bamboo. We even use some Ming Dynasty porcelain with the influence from the Mongols, who liked undercover blue. And one of the leading kilns from the Ming Dynasty, the Dehua kiln from Fujian, that was in the south, and that was a major export kiln to foreign markets, until later in the Ming Dynasty the country decided to close itself and not to trade with the rest of the world. Where have I heard about that? Not trading with the rest of the world led to 500 years of seclusion. Not the best time for the Chinese, but who knows? At least in their tea huts they were enjoying very fine teas and felt, yeah, why do I need to trade with the rest of the world when we can have such good tea from China? Now, this tea brewed should not be brewed too strong. We want this to be thirst quenching because it's hot, it's a hot weather, and the fruitiness should not be too overwhelming. It should be more like a mousse. If it were a dessert, it would be more a mousse than a very heavy cake. So I hope that you are having a good time with this tea. Let me have a look if you have any remarks about it. Hello, Talki and Elizabeth writes, so true what you say about tea and art. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'm glad that you are inspired. There were some other nice quotes when I researched about the Ming Dynasty, like let me check. Oolong, also for him there were three very important things where you had to look for perfection. You had to look for perfection in the water, the quality of the water, the fire. At that time, really making a good charcoal fire, not too strong, not too weak, so that the water would boil just enough. And also with good charcoal was also an art. Now it's much easier with a resistance or a modern way to make it. But yeah, water, fire, and third perfection was timing. How to time everything so that there's no wait, that also the brewing time would be just right, not too short, not too long. Have to master water, fire, and time. Then you are master of your universe. Remember, the concept of Chaxi mandala is to create a harmonious world, a tea world, if you want. And so the three factors that you want to harmonize are water, fire, and timing. Great. So, interesting to use specifically the Ming Dynasty for this literary. Tea was really one of the top escape and maybe the best escape because it clarified their minds. It made them content to be in the here and now, to enjoy the tea. They enjoyed it in nature. They really did not care so much about the gold. They enjoyed more simpler utensils. That's why I'm using for my water bowl this bowl by David Louveau that was fired in a wood kiln. So it has lots of variations due to the ashes that fell on it. It's not even completely round. So when you see a very earth-like style, very simple style, this is usually has a lot of roots in the Ming Dynasty. Later the Qing Dynasty would be much more fancy, more colorful, and so maybe the Ming is very down-to-earth way of making tea that is still very appealing, I think, for today's ambience, atmosphere. We are simply looking to purify our mind and having a good time. And the other quote, I really like it a lot. When you drink it alone, it's a dialogue with gods. Today is Easter, so it's a perfect quote for this holiday. And also, if you drink it with friends, then it's a convent for the heart. In this spirit, thank you very much for watching my little chaxi. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I, and I hope that you're also enjoying this tea. Let me read a bit your comments. Tal Kia writes, I see you prefer not to pour the tea into the cup on its saucer. Yes, this avoids putting water on the saucer and then so it's best to pour when without the saucer. Terry writes, lovely chaxi. Talki, nowadays it becomes vital to have such an inner peace. Yes, thank you very much. Terry, wind is blowing out my fire under my cast iron kettle outside. That's one of the challenges when you are making tea outside. The wind can be blowing hard. That's why they were more making it in a hut, or very often actually in the Ming Dynasty paintings you can see that they have servants who are taking care of the tea making, and the masters or the two people drinking tea are simply handling the teapot and don't have to go in the detail of making the water. But that's in some of the paintings. There also, as we have seen in the quotation, some people are also taking care of the water and the fire. Terry. Oh no, Elizabeth. Terry, how nice to be able to brew tea outdoors. Yeah, I guess it's still very cold in Canada right now, so it must be difficult to do that. Since you are so numerous, let me brew a second time these leaves. I can brew them several times. Now the leaves have, I can see, well opened, so I will not brew them too long, but I will pour very slowly again. So we were mentioning finding an inner peace. So by brewing so carefully, this is also one way to achieve this peace and this focus. Okay, if I were to use a chaxi, it would be easier to pour. Just easy is not gongfu. So if you want to go to the spirit of gongfu, you have to pour directly in each cup. This allows you, if one of the guests that you are serving likes his tea lighter, to make one cup lighter than the others by pouring more from the beginning. And otherwise, it's also a way to learn to pour a similar amount for every person, to be fair to everybody. in the Ming Dynasty, they also had they also thought about etiquette to formalize how to pour, who to serve first, according to age and status, social status of the persons. They would also bow 3 times for those who were using a more formal way, and this influenced the Japanese tea ceremony. Then Rikyu. So you see, by going back and forth, we achieve a harmonious tea color. And we go back as our chart tour. The chateau brings more harmony. Et voilà. What did I miss? No servants for me today. Oh, we have somebody from Switzerland. Welcome to my video. Terry, very warm in Asherville Mountains. Japanese people have a particular attention for charcoal too. Yes. Interesting explanation for pouring various strengths. And if you are 2 people, how many cups do you use? Now, in theory, you would use 2, but then it would also depend on maybe on the teapot that you are using. If you decide on a certain type of tea, maybe that the tea that you want to brew is best done in a certain teapot that is good for 3 or 4 cups. Then I would pour in 4 cups, and everybody gets then 2 cups, or we share the 3rd cup. If it's 3 cups, then we are 2, because you don't want any tea to sit in the teapot. You always want to empty the teapot. So when I do a chaxi like this, yeah, the number of cups is not necessarily the number of people drinking, and but having small cups is more practical to drink than larger cups. Still very smooth, very sweet, and really the smells of the Dongding terroir in summer. You can smell the flowers in the region of Dongding. It's when I have less time, maybe when I'm at the table for dinner or lunch, that I would use a chahai, and then from there serve other people. But if I'm brewing carefully, then I will do many cups. Okay, great. Thank you very much for your interest today. I hope that this maybe has inspired you to research a little bit on Ming Dynasty tea. They gave us the loose leaf to brew, so they were it was a slow evolution from the Tang Dynasty to the Song Dynasty, the Yuan, where they start to brew with loose leaf and still also brew powder, and then in the Ming discarding more and more the powder tea. So, and actually it's in Japan that during the Ming that they really formalized the matcha ceremony. There's a beautiful chaxi for this tea and this day. Yeah, and thank you very much for your painting. It's a painting that where we have some water, so maybe after the feeling very warm, what I feel to do is I'm looking at this little fish and I want to be this fish jumping in the water, refreshing, and enjoy this beautiful world of bright colors, also being like this bird flying, having this overview over the tea culture in China, and being in the mood for beauty and maybe for poetry also. So thank you very much. Happy Easter and have great tea. Yeah, beautiful watercolor. I agree with you, Terry.